Beloved, ahoy, ledges. Ahoy, ye ledges. Vogbog, love ya. Appreciate the lurk. How we doing, guys? Did not know I'd left you vamping for 13 minutes. Ridiculous. But here we are. Here we are. I miss you guys. I love you. Welcome. I have a question for anyone out there. Really anyone at all. I'm curious, like, in my stream manager on Twitch, you guys keep the quality on auto? Or you go to source? Because I kind of want it on 1080, and I have it on auto right now, and I think it's on 720. And I have no idea why that would be. Also, Vogley, what up? But dude, I noticed that our first Cthulhu stream and our second Cthulhu stream, it is not the same. It almost looks like there's like a filter over the second one. Like there's a lessening of brightness. It's very strange. You set it specifically to 720, Root? Well, I mean, if you go and look at the first one and the second one, they are just not the same level of brightness. And it was the weirdest thing for me because I basically went and we'd started the stream and I went into Twitch to, like, I don't even know, respond to chat, do something. And I saw that it was streaming in 720 and I was like, oh, why the fuck is it in 720? So I went and just clicked it over. Showing 480? How bizarre. Well, I'm curious. We'll just drop it into 1080. We'll let it rip. Let us see what it will be. But the change in brightness was very strange to me. And then today I was kicking around, I was getting going. Like, there's no doubt in my mind between the first Cthulhu and the second one, because I downloaded them both to upload them. And I was like, holy shit. But then, like, for example, this guy. Yeah, man. Like, see how muted this is? Wait, wrong way. There it is. 7th time's a charm. But you see how muted this Google Doc is? Looks almost like rose tinted. Slightly gray. Super bizarre. Oh, you know what? Then I think that auto might just be for the display. Very bizarre to me. Let me just do one thing here. Weird. Interesting. That is so bizarre. Okay, whatever. We're out. I don't know what the deal is. I gotta be honest. It is killing me because I want to set it and forget it, and I feel like I'm constantly tweaking it, you know? Yeah, and that's cool. Like, I'm cool with that adjustment, but I don't understand why it would lead to, like, this brightness dip, you know? I'm not really sure what you mean by that, to be honest, Root. Because it's unclear to me if I go to my stream manager and I click on the square that's showing my own playback, the settings, if I'm just changing my playback settings for me when viewing Twitch, or if I'm changing the stream settings on this stream. To be honest, the journey of this new computer has been awful. Could not be less satisfied. Could not be less satisfied. Okay, well, let's just do the thing. I had a great sesh last Tuesday. We hadn't played in a while. It was pretty rowdy. Stuff was going down. And I finally got to use some stuff that I've been sitting on for a very long time. Which I think any DM is like, let's go, you know? Yeah, I mean, I'm literally about to ship the computer back, which is like the most. Oh, it's just so like, yeah. I can get so particular with electronics, but especially whenever I'm like sending them or moving them or shipping them, like there's just a preciousness that I like to maintain. But yeah, man, I really have regretted this purchase. It's been awful. Been very, very frustrating. Pretty much every aspect of my workflow has been completely changed. And it's just so insane. But, you know, you wouldn't believe it from watching the stream, but I'm actually not here to bitch about these electronic issues. The playback, I just don't understand, so it's confusing. All right. What's right with the comp, Root? What's right with the comp? Can't format hard drives. Tons of trouble interacting with exFAT and NTFS formats. Man, yeah, I don't even... Snipping tool won't work. Bluetooth connectivity is a huge issue. Yeah. I mean, the list really does go on, but I mean, let me just see something real quick. Crazy. Let me know if this music gets too loud for you guys. Yeah, I mean, very little is functioning with this thing, but even stuff like this, where I'm like, okay, why is this like screen grab of the Google Doc and the Albert? Shit. Yeah, I mean, I didn't go with your build route, but I mean, there was similar stuff. I mean, that's not the issue. You know what I mean? You didn't add a Bluetooth card, though? Can you imagine getting a computer without a Bluetooth card? What the fuck is going on? Okay. So bizarre. Yeah, Fizz. Working lurk, girl. It's honestly just been such a fucking bear of a morning. I'm like, in this moment, so close. But let's move forward. Let's move forward. We've thrown away 20 minutes, 22 minutes of our lives. Let's reclaim the next hour 30. So last Tuesday was working with the party. Honestly, there'd been a lot of kind of interlude, a lot of back and forth. Like, yo, what up, Maya? I'll continue. The, deuces up as I slowly eat a banana with cottage cheese. I love that, Abellin. Yo, I need the receipts, and I need a confirmed alibi, all right? You're like, I was on stream at the time. But man, like, changelings in general, right, have such a reputation. I really do hope Amon shows up at some point in time, because he's like the changeling professor. Man. But changelings can be such a trippy kind of undertaking. I feel like there's a lot of disagreement on whether or not they're broken or not, or like, you know, what their interactions can look like or not. I think as long as you know the rules, then you can do whatever you want with them. It's only whenever a DM makes them like imperceptible, you know? Yo, Omega, what up? Get in here. Bugles up. I'm complaining about tech issues. You know? Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, Rude, I went a completely different direction. Kind of. I'm a ton of fun at parties. I'm not good with changelings. No, man. Around 4 months, babies like throw out their sleep patterns and just start all over. And that's where we are right now. Ugh, it is killing me how gray and dim this screen grab is. And I just have no fucking idea why. Crazy town. Crazy town, USA. Mayor, Carpe the Diem. Yeah, I didn't ask to be mayor of Crazy Town. But I was born here. Yeah. Yo, Evie, good seeing you. I know. Okay, so this is what went down. The party was leaving the Underdark, and they'd been there because they were dealing with this battle to the north, the ice shields, and this dragon, this interaction, right? And the party knew. I mean, not that they like fucked up, so to say, late honk, excuse me, but they knew that this interaction between the orcs and the dragon was meant to be like the opus of the campaign. And we talked about that a lot. That's been a lot of the past like DM sessions, It looks like there's a film filter on Root. I don't think that's the issue. My issue is why 3 weeks ago when I'm streaming with this exact same OBS setup is this window capture not look like it's hidden behind a dirty window. And now it does. It's crazy. That's crazy to me. Right. So the party knew they'd kind of goofed up. I sent out a Google form sheet, which I actually really highly recommend for any DM that wants to like touch base or catch a feel. I also talked to Sage a little bit about it. He was like, yeah, I did that. And like, no one got back to me. That can happen. That can be a result. But I mean, just like anything in life, like oftentimes trying to have a discussion or talk about it is going to be worth the effort. And I talked to the party. I was like, hey, what's going on? How do we feel about this? How do we feel about the end of the campaign? What in our mind needs to happen for the campaign to be finished, right? I think that's like a good way to maybe catch a pulse, catch a feel. And obviously some stuff I knew, but it helped me get a gauge of where the party was kind of prioritizing. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, I love that. I don't get why you're looking at me like that unless you don't have True Sight, do you? Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom and then come back as a different person for the rest of my life. I do really love the idea of a changeling that is like kind of just laying low. Maybe they're working like, a tradesman's job. They're a carpenter. They're a mason, whatever. And something happens, something happens where they get spooked, or maybe they're trying to like break in and get, someone pissed them off. They're trying to like steal a pound of sugar or toilet paper their cottage. I don't know. And they get busted. But the idea of an innocuous event leading to a changeling almost being discovered as a changeling and then needing to leave and start a whole new life. I don't know what the modern equivalent of that is, but I think it's like being doxxed on TikTok. Something in those lines. But anyway, long campaign, we'd push to the north. I'd viewed this as being the end, this like big swell. And as it often does, things went to hell, right? No surprise there. So then what do? I pulled back. I sent out the survey. I looked at my options. And I basically was like, you know what? They have this one villain left. This enormous, he's technically human, but he's like an ogre. He's like a Goliath descendant. But this crime boss by the name of Trent Puegraph. Old world Sicilian. I mean, kind of classic mob figure, but more like that uncle from Italy that no one knew what they did. And he is the leader of a group of criminals called the Blind Jackals. And the party had been close on the tail, man. I mean, they almost got Trent. Trent almost got them. There's a lot of back and forth, and Trent smoking the wind. And that for me is really satisfying. Whenever you have a party that like hates an NPC, you know what I mean? That like wants so badly to kill them. Yeah, I stand with Evie. And Evie, how you doing, girl? You're fine here, all right? You're like, you're constantly like switching. You're like morphing into the shapes of all of our exes. Don't do it, Abella. Oh my gosh, I love it. Never played a Changeling, but had an idea of one who picks different features from other races. Yeah, why not? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I feel like that would potentially... You know, I guess theoretically, right? Like if you have a family tree that's like a ton of like intermingling. I guess what I'm wondering is like if you saw someone with like the features of a dwarf, of an elf, of a tabaxi, like would that make you suspicious that they are a changeling? Or would you be like, damn, that person's hot. They got all the best parts? What the fuck? Anyway, so they're coming out of the Underdark, and we had some fun skills challenges. They have the last remaining blue dragon of this ancient blue dragon with them. Sort of a, okay, take my baby and flee type scenario. So they have this like 6-month-old wormling hatchling named Vatarist. And had some fun skills challenges with them trying to kind of bond with Vatarist. That ended up being very fun. Animal handling, persuasion checks, some religion checks as well to try to catch a vibe. And the party did very well with that. And as they pushed up, I had them, of course, roll a d20, right? And I didn't have a full 1 to 20 random encounter table. Like, you guys know I do a lot of those. I enjoy those a lot. This was just more directional. Like they wanted to head towards Bixie Creek. They really wanted to head towards Raven Rock. And I wanted to see how good of a job they did. So they rolled a 9. And as such, I basically sent them through these old dwarven mines. These old sort of ruined cities, kind of the near dark is what I was calling it. But like of the, 5-6 miles just below the surface, before you really start pushing into Drow territory. They passed some history checks, some religion checks. They gleaned some information. I described it as them seeing these like demarcations of Bixie Creek, Raven Rock, the Lurk Meadow. Some of them looked like mines or the entrance to mines. And with successful checks, they were more or less able to see that a lot of the structures within these different like dwarven outposts and build-outs were almost like you are here style maps that gave you reference points to like here and there and where to go and how to do it, And so I don't know. In general, I like, even if someone's like not getting exactly what they want, to hopefully give the party some sort of useful information or just punish them and try to kill them. But in this case, I gave them information that they could potentially apply to their travels. I wish you guys could hear Marley just complaining so loudly just outside this door. I love it. I loved my changeling. I like that though. Druid, 4 reasons. Exactly. Druid with 1 level of Warlock and then Mask of Many Faces and just, you know what? They're whoever you want to be. They're whoever you want to be that day. Oath of the Watcher Paladin, I love it. Fog. Tee-hee. Yeah, no, that's a good way to rip. Oath of the Watchers is awesome. And that for me, I think sometimes I know there's pushback on how intense the subclasses can be with paladins, right? Where they can really kind of make you almost have a moralistic angle. Not always. It's all in how you play it. But man, with Oath of the Watcher, to me it's just very cool and funky. Like, what are they waiting for? You know what I mean? Like, what are you watching for? And for each and every, maybe it's something big, maybe something small, but that build out into a character's backstory by way of the subclass is, I think, very cool. Like maybe something horrible happened and they weren't watching. And now it's this sort of guarded sense of making things right, of not allowing that same lack of vigilance to negatively affect. Yeah, Druid is rad. Druid was my first character. I'm a huge Druid stan. Oh, Evie, I love it. Vog was there for it. Oh, bless you. I did in fact do that. Yo, Evie, This right here, this is like rosy and gray, correct? As opposed to white. Or is that just me getting to know my new Samsung monitor? That despite the fact it says it comes with an HD audio driver, does not in fact come with speakers. I'm telling you, man. If you guys want to know what not to buy in terms of components, swing through my Discord. I got you. If you want to know what not to buy and where not to buy it, I got you, baby boy. I got you. Okay, because you can't see it. I'm telling you, man, if you go to the first Cthulhu stream and the second Cthulhu stream, you would think they were shot in like a cave. I mean, it's the exact same setup, exact same input, exact same hardware, software components. Different image result. Insanity. Okay, don't do it, Carpe. Do not spin out again. So the party made it up here. Exterior of the mine, the dark hearth. Oh, that's right. So originally, I was going to have them with a 9 come up, through the Dwarven mines, potentially have an opportunity to glean some information. They're very much looking for a shitload of diamonds, a metric shitload, because they're trying to, I think, True Resurrection the bard that they lost to the Disintegrate spell. Good luck. I mean, they might. I think they need 10,000 diamonds. But I wanted to give them that opportunity. Zorns, which are these like elementals that eat precious gems, diamonds in particular. I don't know if you guys know Zorns, I'm sure you do, but I love them. Like, you have an elemental that only eats expensive shit. Like, it sounds like an ex-wife on Rodeo. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. Who is it? Okay. But I wanted to give them that option. Like, here are clearly areas where Zorns have historically been noted. You know that they're also called diamond eaters. So, if you really want diamonds that bad, you can go investigate. And that would lead them to a very dangerous place. But originally I was like, you know what? Even if they don't go, they're gonna come up and there will be this trapped in old outpost called Veradon, right? A cave-in 340 AD. They're presumed dead. But I wanted it to be a ton of liches and skeletons, right? There's a glowing purple diamond that can duplicate the lich. I wanted to use that as a mechanic to like watch this lich clone itself. It was going to be a very dangerous encounter, and I was excited about it, but because we hadn't played in like 2.5, 3 weeks, I didn't want to just roll in and like throw a lich at them. You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes you just got to throw a lich. That's a big old dirty lich right there. But at the same time, like, combat is so much more satisfying whenever we can really root it in something, like give it a reason. So on the fly, I basically was like, you know what? No. They're going to come up with a 9, they'll come up to the surface, and then I'll let them make a decision that either can or cannot take them to meet this underground lair. But then that led us to the Changeling. And before we really dive into that, I want to talk a little bit about the power of deception. All right? Like the way Cobra Type deceived me into thinking I was buying a high-functioning CPU. You got me, Cobra Type. You got me. You pump-faked me out of my shorts. Ridiculous. Okay, hang on. I got to see this. Abellin, you are killing me. I love that. Yeah, I love paladins, but hated the lawful stupid stereotype that was yeah, exactly. It's been rooted out. Like, I think it's less heavy-handed, where like a paladin always has to be like walking the old woman across the street. But I would love to see even just more subclasses. Like in our campaign, in the Tuesday campaign, we have an Oath of the Vengeance paladin, Sweet Pea, played by Claire. She's fabulous. But Sweet Pea is not particularly religious. You know, like, she just sort of is playing it. She happens to be a paladin. She happens to have divine smite. What really drives her is this sense of retribution, you know? So sometimes anger can just be your religion, I guess is my point. So does it happen when you're not in OBS? And Evie, does what happen? Like the weird graying out of screens? No. Like right now in monitor on my end, this Google Doc that I'm also window capturing in OBS is, you know, white. Let me see here. It's so funny. These are two different hues. So fucking stupid. Yeah, I don't know. Something else to deal with. I honestly, like, I'm so close. I'm literally shipping the CPU back to Cobra type. Insomnia, I see you. I love you. I'm telling you, Best Buy sucks. This is not a Best Buy issue. This is a Cobra type and Samsung issue. Now, is it coupled with some user error from your boy? Undoubtedly, all right? Undoubtedly, okay? Undoubtedly, but let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, what about the Changeling who runs like 4 shops in a mall? I love that. They're all interconnected. It's like the same structural face, but they're just like fatter or thinner. Changing the other merchant and undercut themselves to make shoppers think they're catching crazy sales. That is great. You know, we can afford it because we source it from one place. Have your doc conduct an allergy test when it's safe to do so. Interesting. Wait, how did we get here? Root, I love this. Have your doc conduct an allergy test when it's safe to do so. Bless you. Yeah, when it's safe to conduct the test. Me personally, I'm sensitive to powdered laundry detergent and have to rewash my blanket because the previous user in the laundromat put an excessive amount and left residuals. Now I need to rewash it to get rid this body-wide hives. Root, bugles up. What a ride that was. What a ride. Body-wide hives, been there. The honeypot hive. Root, I love you. That's a hilarious tale. I mean, honestly, that's the biggest bummer of not having your own washer dryer. It's just the shenanigans. You never really know. My Genie Warlock summoned one to fight against Strahd. Fuck yes. One shop with 5 different employees at all the same Changeling doing quick changes like in theater. Exactly. It's like, sir, why are all of your collars Velcroed on? I love you, Somnia. Good seeing you, dude. Dude, I love that shadow run, too. I'm not really familiar with that system, but we're not going to use it, so we had him just go at it. I love it. That's so good. That was so good. Either the program settings for the window or screen capture may also be CPU percentages. Is Shadowrun a D10 or a D6? Or something else? I couldn't catch a feel for it. All the difficulty seemed like it was on a scale of 1 to 10. Which made me think it was a D10, but then sometimes you go under that. Okay, D6, got it. Yeah, no, that was killing me, dude. Also, all the voice mods were murdering me. It was just like, you know, I think we gotta fuck this guy up, no cap. Like, in any modern language with like a huge filter. That shit was good. Okay, the program settings for the window or screen capture. Interesting. But you know what's getting me with that is the... I'm just so blown away by that. Amon! There he is! There's the guy! Amon, we're talking about changelings, dude. I know, you might have just shit your britches. It's okay if you did. Look, it might not be today, and it might not be tomorrow, but every adult at some point in time is gonna shit their pants. Hey, dude, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. I'm just here to guarantee you something. Might not be today, but it's coming. Oh my gosh, last week's D&D session for my IT class. That is chaotic. A lot of 1s, 0s, and X's. That's hilarious. Okay. You're going to love this, Amon. So as the party comes up, right, they roll a 9, they get some information. I'm about to have them face this lich skeleton kind of exchange, but I'm like, nah, it hasn't been grounded yet. Let's keep going. They come up, they survey the landscape. It's the first time they've been above ground in-game in almost a month. And they know the drow are coming and doing their things. They know that this is a dangerous time to be on the surface. And they see wildfires everywhere, dotting the landscape. And they send the dragon and the level 18 storm cleric, who can now fly, to kind of zip around the area. The ranger has a cloak of the bat as well, so he can fly due to the darkness. And man, it was just so satisfying to watch them get up and try to gather information. they eventually made their way and came across a group of owls who happened to be flying. And they came in and did like an insight check and determined that the size of the owl, the fact the owls were flying in a pack, was unusual in the natural world. They called out to them, ended up they were in fact druids, the Starcatch druids, and they chopped it up with these druids for a little bit. But that helped them find this this outcropping of miners, this place called Bixie Creek. And they arrived there, and excuse me, my allergies are killing me. Okay, also I just want to get this in real quick before we talk about it. A changeling may need a lot of gear to aid disguise exactly. They don't change their clothes, right? Changelings had the magical ability to change their appearance. Although similar in effect to a disguise spell, there was no illusion, but a small physical transformation of their bodies, right? So their clothing and possessions are unaffected. It's also not as extensive as a doppelganger's transformation, and they were limited to a humanoid form. They could alter their facial features, skin coloration, hair, sex, color, size, etc. Though it took several seconds, change their form as often as they liked. Right. They have an innate resistance to sleep and charm. Great. Cool. Okay, so the big thing for me. Yeah, exactly. Can someone get me the newest Shiftweave thread? Oh, really? Got you, Root. Dang it, man. That's even more isolated then. That sucks. I'm sorry that happened. What if someone sets off a memory fog trap in a group of changelings and they all struggle to remember which forms are they own? I love that. Oh no, it's the fog of disremembrance. A changeling for the fairy forest. Oh, heck yeah. That's honestly a good idea. Much like the changeling that runs like a a bunch of shops in a row, the idea of one changeling being responsible for all of a party of heroes, but it's just one changeling, that I think is great. Okay. Aman, I like that. Okay, so this is the situation I wanted to paint. Originally, this is what I was going to have. Was they come into Bixie Creek. Oh, that's too... Okay, yeah. Get a feel for it, though, right? You can see this. Okay, this is way more representative of the color spectrum than the Google Doc. What the fuck? This is blowing my mind. It's taking every single ounce of focus, every neuron in my body is fighting to not freak out over how much this pisses me off. But I'm chill, dude. I'm chill. I'm not bothered. I haven't spent 1 month on this one issue. No. Oh my gosh. I also have so much work stuff, guys, and I'm telling you, trying to go between PC and Mac whenever you're troubleshooting hardware and software and you're not sure of the source. But I've got a 3.5-month-old to help keep me chill. Oh, I love you guys. But whatever reason, this color spectrum is correct. But this is meant to be like the valley mining town of Bixie Creek. As you can tell, it's built into like the actual gorge in the valley just south of the Lurkwood. And I fucking love this map. I forget the map maker. Let me see if I can find it. I did not make this map. Damn it. Well, I did post it at some point in time. And they're on DnD maps on Reddit if you need to find it. But the point is that this map maker put a night and day version. And anytime somebody does that, my tiny black heart grows. Just a teensy-weensy bit. Just a teensy-weensy bit, all right? Thank you, Insomnia. Finally, Insomnia saying something kind. All right, let's go. Bugles. No, I'm joking. I'm tilted from my own display issues. Thank you for your patience. The forest in my game is known to manifest dreams. That I love. And it's not Fae. That's just like the regular forest of dreams. I love that. So the same story archetypes appears to sound logical. That's cool. So anytime somebody does a day and night map, I appreciate it. I wanted the party to come out of the surface at night. Like I was just going to ex machina that regardless. Because the idea of being in the Underdark and you've been there for weeks and you've been there so long that even the smell of the lichen and this near kind of like botrytis rot, the wetness and dampness of the depths, that smell gets lost. Oh my gosh, baby, thank you so much. Get in here. Guys, this is my beloved wife, Alex, my queen.
Hello.
We're just talking about tech issues and just trying to be real patient.
Gosh.
Hey, Squid.
Your patience has been tested. That's for sure.
I am so not losing it. It's great.
I know. I'm proud of you.
All right, cutie pies, get out of here. Quick baby pop. You guys couldn't see it. Waylon came in like this. And then he goes like this. Well, I'm going to give you the reverse. You only saw the back of his head, but this is what happened. He came in and he goes... Exactly, Abellin. A good map will give you so many plot points, right? So I've been sitting on this map for a long ass time. Bixie Creek does not exist in Faerun, right? It is just a machination of mine. I mean, like many small little villages and like outposts and farming communities or mining communities, like they might not make it onto the big world map, but like they're there, right? There's going to be 150 people living and having lives and, you know, whatever. And so the idea in game about 5 or 6 months ago in game, they left Neverwinter. They'd killed the big bad wizard. Trent was the leader of the Blind Jackals, this like mob underground criminal organization, and they almost had him, but he got away. And as the Blind Jackals, who are his group, I mean, they don't wear like insignia. There's not like a Blind Jackal uniform, right? They're mostly humans, but a lot of elves, a lot of half elves. There's a dwarf caster who's right here. He's actually pictured above me. That's Falm. There's no real steadfast way to be like, that is a Blind Jackal, unless you're able to confirm it and recognize someone or like catch them in the act, catch them in some sort of deceit. But they caught 2 Blind Jackals that were heading to the port of Neverwinter. And they were attempting, you know, to sail out, to escape. And while there, they ended up essentially killing one and doing that in front of another one who was like, holy shit. He's in Bixie Creek. Trent went to Bixie Creek. And they've also known, like, hey, is he still going to be there? You know? How much can change in 5 months? Particularly in-game. But they headed north. They fought the Ice Shields. They lost. They fled into the Underdark. And now, a month later, returned to the surface. So when they got to Bixie Creek, I had the guards in the front just just kind of standoffish. Okay, that's far enough. And all the sort of the tightening of wood and the hairs of a longbow. You know what I really actually want to rock? I've been enjoying the heck out of this music. Let me put this on for us. Obviously, This Adventure Begins is a classic. El Clasico. Guys, can we all take just a quick moment? And this is not about patting my back, all right? Let's just take a quick moment and acknowledge just how chill I'm being about the fact... Oh, I'm not even going to say it. Look, I'm chill, dude. Calmer than you are. Calmer than you are, dude. Whew. Okay. Let me catch up on chat and then we're really going to dive in. This music, I fucking love. This is the vibe I want. I want like a lute and like a separate guy that's playing like some sort of like Eastern windpipe. And I want the whole thing to feel like it's taking place in the courtyard of a haunted castle. Right? That's my aesthetic. That's my soundscape. Okay, the NPC story the players might find could be a mess and a half. You're talking about the IT group. Partly because a fairy tries to help out but escalates. Hey, fairy's gonna fairy. You know what I mean? A quaint realm of insanity. Oh my gosh, dude. Now that sounds like purgatory, Abellin. or some version of like Pleasantville, right? But the horror version. That's fucking cool. Ah, yes, the ambush sound. This town is in a... Richter, get in here, dude. Bugles up for a real one. Let me just double check that actually. Hold up. Yeah, bugles up. The, where is the dam? That is so good. There is a river north. Yeah, this is a gorge. So this is almost like, really about like 2-3 miles like southwest of the southwest of the Lurkwood in classic Faerun. It's just moving south. It's moving like west of Mirabar. And this is not like a town that exists, right? But I built this as a gorge, like a mining community that literally like this natural formation from an earthquake, from a flash flood, has created this deep gouge in the actual, mineral-rich kind of floor of this part of the north. So Bixie Creek is like, bottlenecked, right? And there's pros and cons to that, obviously. If there's a flash flood, that's a con. But if you're able to go in, if you need to protect your ranks, if you need to sort of circle the wagon, so to speak, great location to do. So they come in, and I put them to the north here. Brandon with a Y is still with them, as is Xander, but I couldn't find Xander for some reason. And this guy right here, I think his name was Felton, but he basically was like, all right, that's far enough, okay? It's far enough. Name, where you coming from? What's going on? Like, what do you guys want here? And the druid, who's kind of a jokester, was like, oh, we just came from over there. And they're like, from Haleki? And he was like, yeah. And I had him roll a deception check. He failed horribly. They got even more suspicious. There were more guards. Now the party's inside over here. But I wanted to lay the groundwork, right, of this changeling. And this is where the deception is everything, because I think any DM that has a long-running table, / and or, is just like a good DM. And that's a scale. There's no whatever. There's many ways to be a good DM. I think that when one of those two things happen, the party does and should start to be very suspicious of the DM, right? Some version of, what's in the box? You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be ambushing your party. Like, there needs to be some occasional version of the monkey paw. Sometimes it can just be as simple as, like, the guards say, no. Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? I love that. How much does a D&D party hate that? When they're just like, what? You're like, no, we're not gonna let you in. So anyway, I wanted to establish, like, Bixie Creek is a place that is being consumed with suspicion. People doubt their brothers, their neighbors. There's been murders. There's a changeling afoot. So they make the party wait outside. And, obviously this didn't take too long in-game. And anyone saw the New Moon 8-shot will recognize this figure. But he's playing a different character here in the Tuesday campaign. He was sort of like an old Irishman. He was meant to be kind of a whispery, whiny fella. He was by the name of, what was his name? His name was Seaster the Wise. And he was a high elf that was like 800 years old. He's like barely alive. He's dying. And he comes out and he's like, what are you guys doing? Yeah, wait, don't shoot me. I'm the oldest living elf that I've ever seen. So he goes out and Seaster's like, I heard you lied about being from Haleki. And he like chops it up with them for a little bit. And the monk comes forward because he's a human and is pretty inconspicuous. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Lord Leprechaunus. But Seaster basically was like, yeah, there's a changeling, and we don't know who the fuck you are. But we do have this horn of truth, which basically is like a zone of truth spell, right? So they were like, hold the horn, we're going to hold it with you. Don't resist it. Let it wash over you, aka fail the wisdom save. And then we're going to ask you some fucking questions. And they did. And the party, thankfully, was pretty above board about it and just kind of told them what was going on. But nonetheless, the suspicion was established. And that, for me, is enough. Like, if you ever want your party to be stepping on eggshells or extremely nervous or worried about what potentially can happen in a session, introduce an NPC that is suspicious. Even just of them. Well, I got robbed. I got robbed 2 days ago. I got pickpocketed while I was on Merchant Street. So, yeah, I'm going to need the gold first. That gives the vibe that in this town, in this city, there's a pickpocket. Will they ever run into him? I don't know. But whenever you ask for a random perception check, their sweet little buddy holes will get a little bit tighter. And that's what we want. We want tight buddies, all right? When my butt hits the chair, I am suspicious of the DM. As well you should. Yo, Gravant, what's up, baby boy? How we living, dude? Good seeing you, man. Hey, good seeing you, dude. Come on. I'm like really committing to the the dad aesthetic. You know what I mean? Hey, it's factual. So sister kind of lets him in. All right, fine. Come inside. You answer the questions. The main point of concern was whether or not they had ever had any dealings with the blind jackals. And the backstory, the one that actually created the blind jackals, the one that created this evil overlord called Trent Puergraf, was the monk, Slight. He's from Waterdeep. His backstory is that he used to be kind of like a runner, a gopher for the blind jackals. And as he grew up in sort of an Aladdin street rat style way, stealing and sleeping on the rooftops of Waterdeep. Excuse me as I have a bite of cottage cheese. He moved up the ranks of the blind jackals. And it reached a point where now he was going for running errands or helping to fence stolen goods to breaking into merchants' homes, stealing their list of ships or the boarding status of those joining the ships. And this culminated with, more or less, Slight, the monk, again, in-game 20 years ago, at the beginning of his backstory, being charged with a murder attempt, an assassination of one of the nephews of the king. Or, excuse me, the nieces. And this was too much. She was a young girl. He didn't feel comfortable. He didn't think she should die. And he fled Waterdeep. And that is what created this animosity between Trent, the leader of the blind jackals, and Slight, a former jackal himself. So now, decades have spun out. Wars have been won and lost. Hearts broken and reforged. And now as they arrive in Bixie Creek, they find a mining community that is, yes, rocked by these clandestine murders, by what they presume to be a changeling but cannot identify. And as the party comes in, it is more or less like, have you seen Trent? Do you know of the blind jackals? Have you seen any of these dudes? They are themselves grilling and being grilled by the townspeople, right? Who were like, okay, wait, what does he look like? Oh shit, maybe he was that big guy. That guy was here about a month ago. We haven't seen him. Well, dang, a couple people in that tent, they were hired by the big guy, but I think they're just miners. I don't know. So there's this air as they're sort of gathering around this central area, right? And they're breaking bread and they're being fed and wineskins are being passed around this firescape. There's this growing sense of unease, of danger. And before we move into what happened, I'm really just still talking about kind of art of deception a little bit. There was one other factor that really set the stage and I think is ultimately going to be why this encounter is a success. But let me catch up on chat. Evie, lurk it up. Abellin, lurk it up. Hey, anybody that can get paid and join us, come on. Okay, well, I'm caught up. Appreciate you guys coming in. Appreciate you lurking as well. But I had another guy by the name of, his name was Bilbin. He was just an old classic, sort of old school Texas fella. He talked about going to the Dark Hearth and seeing skeletons and seeing some sort of dark power within the stone there. And what he's referring to is the Lich in this collapsed dwarven mine. But Bilbin was introduced as, kind of like the old dog and a capable guy. 2 axes, well-worn chainmail. And he's more or less like, if you guys want, you can come in, grab a bite in my tent. And he pulls him inside, and he's more or less like, hey, you can't trust nobody here. I mean, it's hard to know who's who, what's what, People been disappearing, people been showing back up. Don't believe everything your eyes sets in front of you. And then the party dived into like 30 minutes of roleplay, which is like my favorite feeling as a DM. My favorite feelings are when the party is like really in character trying to figure it out, or when something happens, like an NPC shows up or whatever, and the party's like, oh no. Anytime they're genuinely like, fuck, not that guy, oh no, then I know that I've set the seed of fear, deeply rooted. So they walk into Bilbin's tent. Bilbin's like, don't trust anybody. And then they're talking like, hey, okay, it's Pixie Creek. We know Trent was coming here. Sounds like he was here and maybe isn't here anymore. Where did he fucking go? Well, shit. They pointed to one of the tents and said there were 3 or 4 people in there that were hired by this big guy that were, assuming is Trent. Lou Blanken! Welcome back? This is the first time we've met? I don't even know, but LeBlanc can get in here. Digital hug. Come on. All is forgiven, dude. All is forgiven. Bugles up. Yeah, Richter, I tried to warn you. And I tried to warn them. But they walk in, and the situation they're dealing with is like, hey, should we get violent? Like, should we go into that tent and be like, swords out, who the F are you? Stand up. Do you know Trent? Give him the horn. Make him swear. Bang, 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 bang. Do we sneak in there? Do we see if we can rifle through their things? Are they even asleep? Do we wait till morning? This conversation spun around and around. And it was funny because it was like, dude, no worries. Hey, welcome back. I'm glad that the algorithm thrust us back together. And I'll be real. Unsubscribe, resubscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. It's whatever. I used to really get tripped out. Like, now it's just like, hey man, I'm here. The doors are open. You know what I'm saying? Come through. We love having you. But welcome. We're talking about changelings, and I'm trying to set up my party for an enormous twist. The party decided to let the night go unmolested. They broke bread. They got some sleep of their own. And, in between all of this, what I was doing as well was establishing that the Drow were really domineering the north. They would attack at night, and they seemed to almost have insider information. They knew which outpost would be manned. They knew when huge troop movements were taking place. They knew what garrisons were weak and underfed. And this is information that could only be gathered by a source on the inside. And the party knows that the Blind Jackals are working with the Drow. So that was a pretty easy, one-to-one connection. Appreciate you, Richter. Shout out, big boy. And so therefore, what to do? They want to fight the Drow. They want to take out Trent. But right now they're kind of in maybe a bigger problem in that they're in a small community that has a changeling assassin moving through its ranks. And I had this old guy, Bilbin, talking about how there's a spot up on the Ravin Mountains. It's a 2-tower stronghold. It's been taken over by the Drow. Now there's a way to cut up through the mines, through the tunnel systems there. Maybe surprise them. Hell, maybe even find a tunnel that runs all the way to Raven Row. But The way through that mine is, it's through the Dark Hearth. And like I said earlier, there's a bunch of skeletons kicking around. So basically the situation was, you can go and fight the drow head on. You can go to this abandoned dwarven mine that appears to be haunted and potentially backdoor them. Or you can do something else. And they ruminated, they kicked it around. The next morning comes, they go to the tent in question, which is here. They go to the tent in question, where Vatarist is chilling, we'll say. And they throw open the flaps of the tent. And they see 4 empty beds. Shelves devoid of things. I mean, some small trinkets and some innocuous items left behind, but by and large, nothing but empty shelves, open baskets, empty beds. They did an investigation check. They moved things around. They found the remnants of chalk outlines and determined potentially, and correctly, that a teleportation spell had been used. And this is why I love my party, dude. I'd wanted it to be a clue, like, because there were 2 beds that were pressed over the teleportation circle, like trying to hide it. And Slight, the monk, was like, well, shit, if the beds were pressed over the teleportation circle, then someone stayed behind. Someone was here, whenever this, like after this teleportation took place. They come back outside. They walked in there with sisters, like, oh, well, it's right. Oh, Lord, it does look like someone teleported out of here. I hope they didn't take any of our tools with them. And as they come back outside, most of the townfolk, and I've moved them down here on this map, but most of the townfolk, let me just drop it right here, were up in this kind of general area. And I think every DM knows this, man, but I really want to try to describe this because it was crazy to me. But there's a moment, and there's this moment in performance. It's less scary in performance because it's scripted and you know it's going to happen. This happens in improv a lot. Fuck, this happens in relationships. But that moment where you're right up on the edge of something big, you're about to tell them how much you like them, or like, whatever. You're about to make the big twist in the improv scene and be like, that's not a hammer, that's a gopher, put it down. In D&D, is often something big. For me, the only other time I felt that on this level was whenever Reltirion, the ancient copper dragon, was in human form and kicking around Sundabar, and there was this big tournament and this festival. And I described Reltirion taking his dragon form. And these human shoulders like buckling out as these enormous copper wings scraped the sides of the city streets before gathering for purchase and vaulting upward. And it's intense, right? Because what we're doing is essentially taking a risk and just putting it out there. We're just being like, hey, here I go, I like you, ah! But man, those moments of fear and pushing through them, that's where the juicy shit lies. It's where the most delicious stuff in life is hidden, is on the other side of fear. Now, sometimes you need to use fear to caution yourself. Like, I wasn't afraid to buy a computer through Best Buy. I should have been. I needed to be. Yeah? I needed that fear. Now that fear is consuming me. So, there's too much. But I digress. And again, I felt this moment of not even trepidation, but of like nervous excitement where I'm like, this is it. This is it. It's like when you're standing on the high dive, you're like, okay, oh, here I go. Aye. So they walk out of the tent where Vatarist is located. And it's just the party and Seaster, right? This ancient old elf. And as they come out, Bilbin, who's sort of this old kind of grizzled human man, right? He's like, what the hell? How'd you get there so fast, old man? He sort of looks back to the gate at the northeast and then back to the party and Seaster. Stay put. He walks. And coming back about 200 feet, 150, 150 from the northeast gate is the majority of the townsfolk. this sort of, oddly armored and armed militia that are mostly just everyday people, right? Being led by Seaster, the ancient elf. And I described it as sort of being like the Spider-Man meme, right? They're kind of like, is it you? Is it me? Is it him? Shababop. And dude, it was so satisfying. Immediately they're like, grab him. And they grab the Seaster that had entered the tent with them. So now let me bring this back over here so we can kind of catch a feel for the spacing. Where did my guy go? Oh, I put him back. Okay, great. Okay, so... Okay, so check this out, man. And again, this is... I do these because I want to hopefully, steal this idea. Make it your own. Make it better. Whatever. Originally, this is how I wanted it to go. Was that they would come into Bixie Creek. They would catch that everyone was suspicious as hell. It's like McCarthy-level America. And the Horn of Truth, everyone doubts one another, they're on pins and needles. And then the next morning, they make a decision of like, hey, we're going to fight the drow, or we're going to go to this haunted mine, or we're going to do something else. And whenever they did that, or potentially depending if they made any movement, like whenever I describe them having that roleplay moment and being like, should we make a move tonight or in the morning? If they had gone at night and entered into this tent, I most likely was going to describe it as them walking in and seeing Bilbin, the kind of gruff old human man with the big old beard. I was going to describe Bilbin as like sitting up. And it's him. He's human, but he doesn't have a big beard. He has maybe 5 or 6 days of stubble growth. And he was going to be like, man, what the hell you guys doing waking us up? And I wanted them to have just left one Bilbin and walked in and seen another and been like, holy fuck. Is this the Changeling? Which one is the Changeling? But they didn't make any moves that night, right? So I chilled. And now as they entered in looking for the blind jackals that have fled or teleported, unclear, I was like, I'm going to make it Seaster. So they come back down, they grab one Seaster. They attempt to do insight checks. The monk tries to come up and like stunning strike one or the other to see how they react, which honestly is not a bad move. Like I think punching an old man versus punching a changeling might be a different experience. But he didn't roll a high enough insight to beat the deception. And as they're standing there, they're like, oh my god, the horn. And let's just for clarity, just so we know. This one right here, the one that came from the northeast, is not Seaster. This one right here that they walked into the tent with is actually an old high elf. But the one that walked in from the northeast had a horn. The Horn of Truth, this thing that cast a Zone of Truth spell. So there's this back and forth of like, wait a minute there, you have to attune to it to use it. I know, I have attuned to it. No, you haven't, it's mine. Well, I'm holding it, ain't I? And so, like, they had no ability to use the Horn of Truth with any confidence. Party's starting to freak out. They're not sure what to do. They're getting a little antsy, shall we say. And as a result, the cleric takes a minute and casts Conjure Celestial, bringing up a Quaddle. And quick aside, crazy to me that Conjure Celestial does not have a material component. So you're just like summoning a holy creature and you don't have to burn a diamond? Come on. Yeah, for real. I mean, obviously Zone of Truth can be manipulated. But if you have someone that is holding a Zone of Truth and you're like, are you a changeling? Do you or have you ever worked for or been associated with the blind jackals? You know what I mean? Like you can really put a pointed question to them. But it can be manipulated. You're totally right, Richter. But the Quaddle is summoned. And the cleric speaks Celestial. I love this cleric, dude. He's such a good guy. And more or less is like one of these high elves is not a high elf. He's in disguise. He's a deceiver. And it described the Quaddle as looking at them both and then holding up a taloned hand to point to the guy from the northeast. So, all done, right? The power of deception. We did it. Not so fast. Not so fast, all right? Here's what's happening. Let me pull out a little bit. And this is where I want your help, your thoughts, your suggestions, your critiques, whatever you got. Let me pull it out just a little bit more. Okay. So I know it's hard to see the detail because I'm pulled way out. Up here, on this side, and you can't really see it as well, but over here as well, right? This is essentially a huge ladder that leads up. I describe this as being about 200 feet up. And these are like sentry posts, right? But they're also, potentially like, not murder holes, but enormous points of ambush potential, shall we say. There's also tents at the top of these, as you can see. But this is what I think happened. This is what I'm playing with over here. Oh, who's already there? I didn't realize that. Cool. So I think that the four workers here. Let's go ahead and just jot this down. Session 146, great. Man, we had such a great session. A lot of this went down. It's awesome. Okay, so session 147. Cool. Dude, I love it. Yeah, somebody took my unfollow me message very pointedly, and I love it. Don't let the door hit you. Okay, session. Okay, great. So, the four miners. M-I-N-E-R-S, not O-R-S, E-R-S. So all four were blind jackals. One was Falm, in disguise. Falm is the gentleman that's above me, this dwarf. He's a sorcerer. He does all kinds of shit. They know him. They hate him. Falm is sort of like the left-hand man of Trent Paragraph. He's like he's a blind jackal. They're mostly like monks and marshals, but they do have some casters, and the casters do bad boy shit. Like a lot of dominate person, a lot of finger of death, a lot of fuck you up type shit. One was Falm in disguise. One was the Changeling. Orestes. Maybe Orestes? Oh, is that actually a word? Orestes? Cool, let's do it. I guess so. Charge the Orestes with breaking and entering. That doesn't get used a lot. One was the Changeling. Cool. So here's what went down. LeBlancan, very, very likely, dude. Very, very likely. But here's the thing. Here's all I want to do. All I want to do is have the party think that they found the Changeling. Here's the deal. The Changeling is Bilbin. He's the old country boy. Yeah, with the big old beard and whatnot. This person is one of the miners that has disguised self cast on him by Falm. So, the party comes in. They're recognized. I mean, some people just recognize them from like winning tournaments and shit like that. They're like, oh my God, that's the Storm Chasers. Holy shit. They chop it up. They talk about Bixie Creek. The Changeling, Bilbin, is like, come on, chill with me. He's like, look, you can't trust anybody. Don't trust what you see. And then more or less they're told, oh, you're looking for Trent? 4 of his dudes are in that tent. They don't make a move. They wait till the morning. They go in there. Nobody's there. Teleportation circle on the ground. Unused. A ruse. They have slipped up here. Killed this guard. Cast disguise self. Let's just double check. You can upcast it on multiple people, yes? Really? You cannot upcast it on multiple peeps. Okay. Very well, fine. And I want that reveal eventually to really land whenever they go and they leave Bixie Creek. I think they're going to go to the haunted mine, the Dark Hearth. And once they push inside, bound within it, left for dead, is going to be Bilbin. Holy shit. Who the fuck are you guys? He's never seen him before in his life, but it's clearly Bilbin. And I think in that moment it'll be like, oh, shit. We didn't get the Changeling. But how should this moment play out? This guy's going to be revealed as a regular blind jackal. Cool. Yeah, this guy's going to be revealed as a regular blind jackal. And I think Falm is up here. I guess my question here, the options feel like basically, okay, yeah, I feel like there's one of two options. Obviously there's more, but these are the two that I'm really focused on. One is the coatl points to the guy in disguise. That doesn't automatically cause the disguise to drop, right? They might have to like beat him up. They might have to like keep an eye on him. If they keep him separated for over an hour, the spell wears off unless it's recast. And this could be an opportunity for like, okay, you know, this one guy got left behind. He's not going to give them any information if he can afford not to. And they'll probably torture him or beat him up and try to get something out of him, right? The second option, again, there's more, but this is what I'm saying. Hey, big boy. Hey, little man. Yeah. Hey. A long-eared boy coming back and saying, "Oh, good to see you, Mr. Stinky. We're talking about changelings and stuff." There he is. There's that cute head, and he's gone. I love that dog so much. Okay, the other option is this. This moment of the disguised self / changeling being revealed is almost like the go sign. I've thought about describing it as the entire, like in a heartbeat, you hear the cutting of steel across scabbards. And I like the idea of the majority of Bixie Creek falling into combat. All of a sudden, like, some people are attacking other dudes, and it's like, holy shit, like, are you a blind jackal? Like, what the fuck? And it's this confusing melee of mismatched armor, of different people types. And obviously, those that are jackals know that others are jackals. So I could see that happening, like a confusing kind of combat. In that situation, I think Falm would reveal himself and just start bopping spells from up top. I mean, just like bop, 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 bop. That for me could be really fun and engaging. It also would set up a situation where Bilbin, you know, kind of the older guy, he's like, holy shit. Men of Bixie Creek, like, rally to me. You know, he's like trying to be like the good guy, like, you know. Because even though this is a changeling Bilbin, people around him like Bilbin. They've known him. They don't know the real Bilbin is tied up in a mine 3 miles away. But this could be an opportunity for an ambush, Falm to reveal themselves and try to fuck them up, do some damage, maybe kill some people, and then Bilbin to step up and help and, like, you know, push back the attack. Hopefully clearer heads will prevail. If the party tries to make it up to Falm, he will in fact actually teleport. And then, you know, with panting breaths and confusion, you know, the party is left here in Bixie Creek. I think at that point, maybe Bilbin would be like, all right, goddammit. This is what happens whenever we let people in. We can't let the drow keep running around doing their thing. We gotta move, and we gotta move fast. And maybe he'll take them to the Dark Hearth. And that's where the real trap is. He leads them in, and then what? Collapses the entrance. You see the real Bilbin inside, tied up. What do we think? For me, it's between combat, like ambush, Bixie Creek versus Bixie Creek confusion, Bilbin helps, hopefully they succeed, and then they move forward into this mine excavation and realize, holy shit, the real Bilbin's inside. Or this person is revealed as being in disguise. They're grabbed. Maybe they're held for an hour and the spell wears off. Maybe they're beaten and eventually the spell drops. Something like that. And then eventually all they get is information. And in that scenario, still Bilbin would need to lead them to some sort of mine or some sort of something and reveal that the true person is tied up inside, right? Yeah, totally. And in both cases, Richter, in both cases there's a double reveal, right? But it's more, I think it's more effective whenever the party is able to, like, have a little bit of combat and see Bilbin as a good guy stepping up to help them. You know what I mean? Okay, give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll be right back. Cute little boy. Boy, being a little bit troublesome, Mr. Long Ears. Being a little troublesome. Okay, thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. Huh, I like that. That's funny. Maybe. Yeah, I definitely want them to think they figured it out and not get it. Okay, let's go with that. So in that scenario, yeah, I think we put in some more. So let's find somebody to play Bilbin, because I think this will help. Gruff. Yeah, which spell are you looking for, Amon? Damn, I'm liking all these guys. wonder if there's any with blue. I like this guy. I described him as having streaks of blue in his beard. I don't know why. Just felt appropriate at the time. Damn. This is some gruff-looking boys. Okay, I think it's this guy. All right, let's shout out to my guy, the Matham House, my boy Brandon Boyd. Brandon Big Boy Boyd. Pokemon D&D. Let's give this guy a glance. That's fun. Fakeamon. Oh, you're thinking of Seeming. Seeming is the Spellamon. Yeah. And I floated that because they're traveling with a wizard that was like, we could all pretend to be Drow. Because I thought that might be like a fun way to do it, and they didn't pay it any mind. Okay, very cool. Bilbin Bluebeard. Cool. Splendid. Cool. Huh. Interesting. Cool. Great. Wait a minute. So let me just do one thing. Great. Okay, I think I have to save it as copy. Sorry. Just trying to get this correct so then I can save it. Very well. Save as copy, you bastard. Very well. Very well. Okay. So there he goes. Let's drop him in here real quick. And I think how this is going to work out now is that, you know, I mean, essentially, recurring enemies maybe here. You know, essentially I'm going to drop in a ton of just character tokens. I'm not going to make them individual because I want it to seem like it's hard to tell who's fighting who, right? So we can kind of lean into that a little bit, I think. I remember that had a similar effect like Disguise Self, but not the same or the level. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's actually more... I think it does more than Disguise Self, I believe. But let's see. Great. All right, Bilbin Bluebeard coming in. Coming in hot. It's a boy with a blue beard. Okay, cool. Swoop. Okay. So I think we'll just get a lot of these and double them. Okay, cool. Great. So we'll put some like over here and people are just fighting each other and it's death. And there's the ringing of swordplay. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Cool. Cool. This is great. Okay, cool. So as that's happening, interesting. Let's think about how this would like work. Like, I think it would be fun. Sometimes I like to do this just to be like, suck it. But sometimes it's fun to, especially when the party doesn't want to fight. Like whenever they're trying to, you know, negotiate or perhaps like, you know, work something down so it's not as intense. there will be a desire to, roll a bunch of persuasion checks or do this or do that. And whenever they have to do that in combat, in initiative, that to me feels and sounds like a lot more intense. Because they're like doing it in 6-second increments while maybe they're being attacked, while maybe other people are doing this or that or that or this, And that to me can be really satisfying. Okay, cool. Let's see how this music treats us. I like that last one. I'm trying to add a couple new ones to the bag, so to speak. Okay. Dude, I'm blown a freaking way by how muted that capture is. I'm going to have to figure that out. It's driving me crazy. Now, obviously, I'm going to let it go because I'm a relaxed dude. Obviously, I'm going to let it go. I already let it go. It's gone. But I think it could be very, very satisfying to put them in a place where they are essentially needing to be like, oh, shoot, should we attack? Can we talk to somebody? What do we do? And as that's happening, I think this guy's just blasting spells down at them. Now, what would be a way that Bilbin... Maybe Bilbin will grab... Chaos breaks out. The sound of 24 blades, leaving 24 scabbards. There was confusion and blood. The miners of Bixie Creek intertwined. The presence of jackals falls into violent confusion. Nothing better than a little violent confusion, am I right? Violent Confusion was also the title of my middle school years. Okay, let's see here. Presence of jackals falls into violent confusion. I think Bilbin steps up. Those loyal to Seaster, to the north, rally to my axe hand. Yeah, agreed. This is awesome. Wait a minute. In a different system, Mirage has spells effect through upcasting. Yeah. Warlock with Sky Cell for free isn't so bad. Oh, I didn't realize it only lasts 10 minutes for you. Okay, got it. Like that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like one of the limitations for sorcerers is supposed to be that, they don't automatically get to switch out spells that easily. But I like that in general. My God, get out of here. It's the biggest banner rat I've ever seen. Okay. To the north, rally to my axe hand. So let's see. Oh, that's what I was looking at. My bad. So let's see what we got here in terms of spells. I haven't played a sorcerer. I like, oftentimes, my enemies that are spellcasters are wizards or clerics. But occasionally I'll bop on a sorcerer. So we got Cloud Kill. I could see a Dominate Person. Can you upcast Dominate Person? Wow. Interesting. Interesting. This is so rad. So there's your Seeming spell. Let's read these specifics, because maybe they would have done Seeming instead of Disguise Self. Change the appearance of any number of creatures you can see within range. A new illusory appearance. An unwilling target can make a charisma save. Okay. Spell disguises physical appearance as well as clothing, armor, weapons, equipment. Got it. You can't change the body types, same basic limbs. Otherwise, the extended illusion up to you. Duration, 8 hours. Got it. The change wrought by this smell failed to hold up to physical inspections. For example, if you use this spell to add a hat. Got it. Cool. Okay, so it's basically like a high range ability to discover multiple people at once. Okay, got it. Yeah, appreciate that, Amon. Copy that. Copy that. Cool. I'm just looking at spells that this guy might use to like bop out. Cool. $60 feet, so I need something with the range. Wow, Circle of Death. It's nasty. Okay, these are all badass. And he does have teleport. Great. Okay. So this is how it's going to go. The Coatl's going to point, and as that happens, the fake Seaster's going to, like, his whole countenance will shift, right? Grow angry. Ooh, I love that. A corrupted spore druid? Damn. Yeah, maybe they come back to that having happened. I'll screenshot that route. I like that. It's cool. Okay. So, I'm liking this a lot. Me gusta. Let's get this set up a little bit more in terms of the tactics, and then I'm going to write the intro. And then we'll be good to go. I don't think I need to worry too much about the Dark Hearth. I have that already out, right? I already have that map. So if they end up making it their next session, which I hope they do, yeah, we'll be here. Cool. Yeah. Great. Okay. Me gusta, me gusta, me gusta. Okay. Atop the northern cliff. So firestorm, a storm made up of 10 sheets of roaring flame. Up to 10 10-foot cubes. Wow. Yeah, I think he uses firestorm. Or maybe he just tosses down a delayed blast fireball and lets it wait and wait. Damn, that's crazy. I think it's delayed that. I think it's one and then the other. God, that's rowdy. I love that. If pressed. Teleports to the Jackal Stronghold north of Raven Rock. Okay, cool. I'm liking where this is going, guys. This works for me. I think this is very cool. I think this is very cool. So let me get this. Okay. So recap. Oh, shoot, my bad. Who stole my music? Oh. It's this weird thing on YouTube where you have to press play. I hate that part. Cool. Okay. To hit you. The night sky. Glowing so comparatively bright. Bright that at first you thought you'd surfaced. During the day. So absolute is the darkness below. I love this. I'm not familiar with mislead. That's funny, Amon. You know what? 10 minutes to make a child happy? You take that time. So absolute is the darkness below. Pressed to the valley of the Lurkwood, the stretch of wilderness in the north. By small outposts and working villages. Bixie Creek is what you sought. Seeking Bixie Creek with the help of the Starcatch Druids. Finding it. Bixie is a town under the town within the crucible of suspicion. Brothers, doubting brothers, as a murderous changeling wreaks havoc within their midst. Is it not? Okay, got you. Reek rhymes with leak. Changeling wreaks havoc within their midst. You were eventually greeted by the leader of this place, an ancient elf by the name of Seaster. He was suspicious, but found your words plain and truthful enough to win you passage inside. There you met many. Including a young man you'd saved from a were-rat curse many years ago. Ryan. Older now. The spade in his hand, placed with a long sword. Cool. I'm loving this, man. Yeah, I might check that out, Amon. I like that. I've got no problem like bending the rules of an NPC spell list. You know what I mean? Like whatever. That's fine. Especially when it's for story purposes and not for combat. Like, you need to keep that because of balancing stuff. It's not that big of an issue in my mind. Okay. Let me see. The spade in his hand replaced with a long sword. You met an old trapper, long in tooth and blade, named Bilbin. who offered you the use of his tent and bid you caution, for even the truth of your eyes isn't always to be believed. And sure enough, the next day, as you found the tent potentially containing jackals, miners, free people somehow caught in between. Regardless, the tent was found empty. And as you exited the space, saw the confusion and suspicion in Bilbin's eyes. How'd you get there so fast? As a second sister walked your way from the northeast. A classic whodunit ensued. And it wasn't until the celestial eyes of a coatl entered the fray that any clarity was achieved. Now, as the coatl's taloned claw points towards one of the sisters, the moment hangs silent and heavy. Cool. I love that. I love it. I love it. Okay, guys. Good stuff. I like this. Good work today. Well worked, gang. Okay, I'm about to get out of here, guys. But I love you and I mean it. I appreciate y'all. Amon, Root, Insomnia, Vogly, Abellin, Foos, Evie, LeBlancan coming back. Let's go, baby boy. Let's go. Much, much love. Did I miss anybody? Oh, Garvanch, of course, my dude. Root, my guy. Omega. I did forget Omega. You're a legend. I love how Omega's like, yeah, rock it until the party screws it up. Okay, you guys are the best, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me riff about my technical difficulties. I do not know. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. But I'll figure it out. We'll get that sorted. Hopefully it's just a matter of time. But this was a good sesh. Got a lot done. I'm going to raid somebody. I don't know who. But you know I like to end these D&D streams with a little raid action. It was done to me the first time I streamed. It was very uplifting. I like trying to find someone that's doing prep. Okay, this is in Russian. We're not going to do it. Nothing against the Russians. I'm just like, I really would love us to be able to pop over and like hang out. Oh shoot, nope. What do we think, guys? Anybody have someone that's actively streaming that they can vouch for them? Dice actors. How about... Man, this is an Italian, which I like. You know I mess with those Italianos. Alright, whatever. Let's drop in. We're going to go with the It's a tough call. I like going to people that don't have a lot of viewers because I feel like that's really uplifting. You know what? Actors in the name. Hang on. Is this again?
Okay, wir noch überreden, uns in Ruhe zu lassen, falls es zum Äußersten.
This is in German. I don't know. Okay, we're just going to do one. Here we go. It's happening. Just gonna go blind, guys. Going blind. All these have so many viewers, though. All right, whatever. We're gonna raid Mindari. Oh yeah, dude. I love this person's prep. Okay, say hi to Mindari for me. I love you guys. I'll be back next Monday. Pray for my computer and my patience and that of my family as well as we move through this difficult and challenging time. Okay, I love y'all. Smoochos to the Maxos. We're out. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Appreciate you. Smoochies.
Just don't pick the wrong gods to be worshiping. No, I think that, okay.
They call me Young Smooch.
Let's